Hello and welcome once again to the Hot Chocolates kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Swedish white chocolate cake, which is a super cake, and as you can see I've tried to get myself as organised as possible with all of the ingredients and my kitchen equipment. So if I can just talk you through what I've prepped in order to make this a bit quicker. In the mixer I have 3 large eggs, 200 grams of caster sugar and a dash of vanilla extract, and I have whipped those up in the mixer, as you can see, until they are quite pale. And to that will be added 100 ml of soured cream. Over here I have melted 200 grams of margarine. I like to use a sunflower margarine, it seems to give my cakes a lovely consistency. And to that I'm going to add 200 grams of white chocolate. Over here you can see that I've prepped my tin. It's a 9-inch or 24 centimetre round cake tin. I've lined it and I've also greased it. It's actually a loose bottom cake tin, so it should lift out quite easily. Now I'll just get started with my eggs and soured cream. So I'm just going to add that soured cream into the mixer like that. I'm going to let the mixer beat that in for a little bit. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn the heat on again under my margarine, and I'm going to melt into this 200 grams of white chocolate buttons. Now these are the white chocolate that we sell on the website hotchocolates.biz, and they are very high quality white chocolate. What do I mean by that? Well, with all of the chocolate that we use and sell on the website, they all only have the cocoa butter in the chocolate. There are no added oils or fats, and what that does is it gives it a superior taste, without a doubt. A lot of chocolate manufacturers will sell on the cocoa butter to cosmetic companies, for example, and replace the cocoa butter that's found in the cocoa bean with alternative fats and oils. But as I say, I think that the cocoa butter is far superior. Just stirring this in, and once the chocolate has amalgamated with the margarine, that too is going to go into the mixer with the eggs. So that's looking pretty good. I think we'll just turn the heat off now and lift this up over here. Right, just going to pour that in. Going to drop the mixer again, turn that on, Get it all to blend. Right, that's looking absolutely fine. And to that, if we just move over here, I have measured and already sifted my flour and baking powder. So I'm going to add that in as well. Now this is plain flour, 120 grams, and 2 good-sized teaspoons of baking powder. Right, let's just have a look at this. I'm just going to scoop the sides to make sure everything is blending in nicely. We don't want to leave half the cake in the bowl when we pour it out. There we go. And the final ingredient for the cake I have over here, and that's 50 mils of advocaat. I'm just going to pour that in. Again, just give it a little bit of a mix. And that's the cake mix ready. Now I'm going to turn that cake mix out onto the tin, and it's going to go into the oven for approximately 30 to 35 minutes at 175 degrees. I'm just going to bring that over here, pour it in. Now, as you can see, this is quite a runny cake mix, and that's partly due to the sour cream, which you wouldn't normally put into a cake, but I have to say it does give it a fantastic moist consistency, and also it's not sour, but it's not really sweet. The sour cream balances the sugar in the mix, and it creates a lovely texture. So I'm going to pop that cake into my oven over here, which, as you can see, I have got at 175 degrees. And whilst that is cooking, I'm just going to leave it there for the moment, but whilst that's cooking, I will also show you how to make the topping. Now, the topping has 100 mils of whipping cream, which I've popped into this pan here. I'm just going to turn the heat down so that it doesn't burn. I'm going to turn that up slightly, and to the cream I'm going to add another 200 grams of white chocolate, which I'm going to melt gently in with the cream. And to this will also be added a tablespoon of advocaat. Once the ingredients are blended together, I'm going to let them cool, and then I'm going to pop them in the fridge until I'm ready to use the mixture. The thing to say about the cake is that as I say, it's going to go into the oven for about 30-35 minutes. It's hopefully going to rise nicely. Now, at that time, what I suggest you do is you test the cake, and to do that, bring the cake out, not fully from the oven, but just bring the tray out, or the wire rack that the cake is on, pull it out slightly from the oven, and have a skewer ready. And I'm just going to show you what I mean. This here is a skewer which I inherited from my nana, believe it or not, and it is an extremely useful tool to have in the kitchen. What I will do is, to test the cake, I will pop the skewer into the middle of the cake as it comes out of the oven. I'll lift it, and if, as you can see here, because obviously it's not cooked, there's any residue on the end of the skewer, then the cake must go back in. The way you know a cake is cooked is when the skewer comes out completely clean, and do not kid yourself that if there's a little bit that it doesn't matter, because it will. And what will happen if you bring the cake out too soon, it's going to sink. Without a shadow of a doubt, the middle will just cave in, and that's happened to me on many occasions, because I've kind of thought, yeah, I can get away with it, but actually I can't. So you'll bring the cake out, if it's not ready after 35 minutes, give it another 5 minutes, bring it out, test it, and keep doing that at 5-minute intervals. If it's getting slightly toasty on the top, reduce the heat in the oven rather than taking the cake out. What you'll do is you'll bring the cake out, you'll let it rest in the tin for at least 30 minutes. You'll then take the cake out of the tin, put it onto a wire rack, and let it completely cool. And then when you're ready to use it, take this topping that I'm making here. As you can see, that's blended lovely. I'm just going to pop in the advocaat. There we go. I'm going to turn the heat off because I don't want the advocaat to cook. And what you do is basically pour the topping right over the top of the cake. I mean, it is just superb, and if you look on the website you will see a photograph of it. And then decorate it with fruit of your choice. I'm going to use strawberries today, but you can use anything at all, tinned fruit or fresh fruit, it's entirely up to you. Slice it and serve it either with a cup of tea or coffee or as a dessert, and people will be very, very happy. So there you go, I think my topping's ready. I'm going to pop that cake in the oven, and that is Swedish white chocolate cake from Hot Chocolates.